Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to an episode, the first Red Alert of the season. It genuinely feels like a million years since we've done this, and the last time was wielding towards the title. This time, well, there's a million and one things to discuss on and off the pitch, and Mark is busy sorting out his property empire somewhere or just counting his cash or something like that, but Jamesy's still with us. How are we, Jamesy?
I'm good, Dave. Really looking forward to the season.
Mate, genuinely, there is a million and one things to be excited about. Although, we've got to be honest, there's still business to do. There's still things we want to happen. But we will get into that, people. We'll be talking the signings so far. We'll be talking fixtures in August. Still crazy to say. There's only, 16, 17 days left in this month, but there's 3 fixtures to go. And the big questions so far, of course, we'll be talking Alexander Isak and other bits as well. But, Jamesy, let's get into this straight away. I mean, the signings so far, and it's important I phrase it that way, the signings so far, there's been some special ones, and people look at the big one on the screen there, Florian Wirtz. Brilliant move, an absolute coup to beat off your Bayern Munichs, your Cities, all the rest. Like, that is absolutely an elite signing. Everyone's happy with that. You get Kirkes in. That's great. We need a left back. We knew the problems there. Frimpong, we'll just pretend there was some guy there we didn't know at right back. He's come and replaced, so we've got cover there. Your fellow countryman does seem to be made of cheese strings a little bit as well, so he might come in very useful in that right back position. Ekitike comes in, bangs, doesn't he, at the weekend? Fingers crossed he keeps that up on Friday night as well. And there's a few others come into the mix as well. So it has just been, it feels like, and I want to use these words carefully, doesn't it? Really good, but so far. Is that a fair analysis for you?
Yes. Yeah. That's really good with so far, but it's been phenomenal. I mean, if anyone said that we were going to get Florian Wirtz, like, it was just when it broke, you were like, this isn't going to happen. He's going to go to City, he's going to go to Bayern Munich. And then all of a sudden, we have Florian Wirtz. And Dave, if you think about it, right, we don't really have that 10. We don't have that dribble and that creativity, that flair. He picks a pass. He's only 22, right? He's already played 228 games. He's scored 64 and he's assisted 69 at 22 years of age. It's pretty phenomenal. And again, it's something that we needed is a 10. We don't have that creative edge. We could talk about Szoboszlai, but he doesn't really give us that kind of cutting edge when it comes to the creativity.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and this isn't to be derogatory over Dominic Szoboszlai. I think he was brilliant at times for us last season. He did seem to be the whipping boy, weirdly. He's so important with it, his runs, his pressing, everything that goes into the mix. But, yeah, Florian Wirtz just feels like... Is there a danger a little bit? Because talking about the standout players of what we've seen so far, Florian Wirtz grabs the headline, a package that could be £160 million. Is it just lazy to say he is the standout signing so far? Or based on what you've seen, is that just, no, it just is that simple as that?
No, absolutely not. I think that Liverpool have been very, very smart when it comes to the business. Like, let's talk about Kirkes, okay? So Kirkes played 38 games last season, okay? And the only reason he didn't play the rest was a couple of send-offs and he was rested. So it shows you the versatility. Kirkes, he scored 2 goals, 5 assists compared to Andy Robertson. Robertson's balanced, okay? But again, he's getting old. He's going to be a Marshall at it. And unfortunately, you know, we love him, but it's coming to an end. And we need that kind of dynamic back again off that left. And I think Kirkes is an absolute speed demon.
Yeah, I am intrigued because the man on the screen there, Ekitike, I mean, we'll talk about other players that are coming in. So people wondered where he'd fit in. Is he first choice? Would he move to left? All those types of things. But he was so exciting to watch in the Community Shield. his pace, his directness, his power. So that's exciting. Kirkes was an interesting one, like you say, because he was almost deeper in the Community Shield alongside Virgil van Dijk. I think, like you, a lot of us expect him to be the speed demon that bombed on all the time, but we only saw it literally once or twice at the weekend. So I am fascinated to see how it'll go against Bournemouth, especially. But all of the signings so far, he didn't mean it. He clearly didn't mean it, but Frimpong gets a goal as well. And he's looked quite tidy from a little bit that we've seen as well. I suppose this is the thing about it, James. We've used that phrase now so far a lot already in a short period. You scan over this Premier League squad like me, and there is real talent across the board. Like, there really is so many top quality players. Where are we still short, though?
As it stands, and not the big, elephant in the room of the big eye. Obviously, it's the number 9 is a big, and also centre back as well. I know that Leone's came in, but again, you have to understand that he's a kid. It's a breakout season. Played for Parma. He didn't have that kind of progressive kind of movement. He's very defending a lot. You can't just throw him in. I do think that Kanade, either is he going to go or is he going to stay? And I think Gay needs to come in if he can. And I think that would really settle when it comes to the centre back. And when it comes to, I would say that's probably where we need to strengthen. And then we're there. We've got versatility through the whole squad. And we talked about last season where you specifically Slot had, if you had a defender, centre back, it was always one position for each position, if that makes sense. So it's always two players. Now it's a little bit different. There was times last season where effectively we just run out of ideas because we didn't have the personnel. And I think now that we've went in, and now we've got the personnel to kind of really challenge on all fronts.
I agree. It's interesting. He said the other day, literally in one of his, it might have been literally, no, it wasn't today. Sorry, it was last week. In his options that were so different, as in we've got more options than last season. It's just the balance now of getting it right at the same time, because naturally in that Palace game, we looked exposed. I mean, you mentioned Konate there, and this is one I did want to ask you. Even if, and we'll touch on a little more, Gay and Leone come in, is there not a danger for you of, if you look at the title-winning side last season and Konate goes, you'd be saying, okay, the keeper and the centre-back are the same, but the left-back's different, the right-back's different, one of the centre-backs is different. No title-winning team tends to change 3 out of 5 positions and keeps that consistency, surely. Do you not think it'll be a case of, even if we get the centre-back recruitments, they'll still keep Konate and try all the way till the end of his contract?
100%. I mean, you have to. You don't want to be upsetting the apple cart too much. I think Kanai is a massive integral piece. But if he doesn't want to pay for Liverpool, then if he's going to run down his contract, that's fine. We've got a decision to sell him in January if that's something that's going to come up. And then we have to go from there. But we want to try and keep that cohesive, because Van Dijk and Konate were so good at the back last year, colossal. Konate had an absolutely fantastic season. If you remember, he got injured, and that was Endrick and again against Real Madrid. And it was silly too. It was just kind of backed into him, and it was a bit of a kind of tangle of the legs, and that was it. But he had a fantastic season. And again, if we can get another 3, 4, even 5 months out of him before he goes to wherever he's going to go, then that's football, Dave. If he doesn't want to play for us, then we just have to replace him and move on.
It is crazy. It is insane that even as we're talking about it now, in the best possible way, how much Liverpool has spent so far in the summer and the quality reinforcements that come in. And yet, as we're both sitting here, we're both talking about multiple players, aren't we? Still needed centre-back, still needed at least one other attacker, which we'll get to, but it sets the scene nicely for it. And a few comments there. John Mycester saying Kirkes was out of position so many times in the game against Palace. I mean, I'll keep this one brief. The left side against Palace, Kirkes seemed tucked in, and Gakpo was almost covering at left back, wasn't he? It all just seemed a little bit disjointed, the left side especially. System issues, teething problems, players getting things wrong. What did you make of that on Sunday?
I mean, maybe people are going to disagree, but I look at it as a glorified friendly. Van Dijk already came out and he says that he wasn't completely fit. So what's the point of really showing the blood and the gust when actually you've got Bournemouth? So it's very much like getting the shape, ironing out the kinks and then going again. You know, we can have this discussion in against Bournemouth and we'll really understand exactly how Liverpool play. Again, you know, the friendlies just get an idea about the shape, get an idea about the players. But again, I'm taking the Charity Shield as a friendly because the second half, it was so disjointed, Dave. You know, there was no flow to the play and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying, look, it's a glorified friendly. You can't take much from it.
You can't, to be fair. You're right. Honest Lot talked about it as well. And you know the focus was there in adjusting it. And he said, which is a great line today, 10 out of 10 for what I've seen for attacking, but at the moment, 8 out of 10 on the defensive sides, but we're aiming for 10 out of 10. So you know it's been the focus for this week as well. We're going to have to wait till tomorrow to find that out, which is exciting. But as we always do on Red Alert, Jamesy, we talk about fixtures. We make predictions. Usually Mark tends to look very stupid, but he's not with us, unfortunately. So we'll see how we get on with this one. I mean, just on the surface, only 3, but 3 big ones, because the season opener Friday night, Jamesy. Then the Isaac Derby, Monday the 25th of August at St James's Park, followed by second again, Sunday the 31st of August. I mean, they are exciting, tasty fixtures, aren't they, for just a few left in this month?
We need to win them. I think that, you know, this Premier League season is going to be very competitive. And I think that getting 3 out of 3, especially home to Bournemouth, you just show how the Reds play. When we go to Newcastle, I think it's fans that are really going to be like baying for blood. I think that's going to be a real tasty one. But again, I think it's going to be close. I do think that we're going to nick it again, and then from there the real kind of stamp is going to be the Arsenal game, and that's going to really give us an understanding of their credentials, because they look like a good team this year. They have signed Subamendi and Gyökeres, so they've kind of plugged the weaknesses, and that will give us a good understanding of where we are when this comes to the kind of title, and where we are in relation to systems and how the players are playing together.
Is it such an interesting one? Because if you actually reverse or replayed these fixtures last season, we only actually got 5 points from the first 3 if it was to repeat the same scores, because we beat Bournemouth at home early doors. People forget that. Do you remember that 3-3 against Newcastle where Kelleher makes the big error at the last minute and they slide in to equalise? And then, to be fair, the Arsenal game was when the title was won, so it didn't really matter. But, you know, it was still a draw. We always seem to draw quite a lot in recent times against Arsenal at home. But I think you're right. It's maybe this is being blasé, touch wood, it's not. I think the first game, the champions, under the lights, everything around that, the focus takes care of itself a little bit. That one, that could just be Newcastle fans, like you say, baying for blood, all the focus in the wrong place, whereas, you know, they won't have a striker that we'd be terrified of or conscious of playing against last season. This one, this is it. I agree with you for this one. This is the game that stands out for me more than any, because no one really knows what Arsenal are like exactly, where they are. Their fans are having their normal meltdowns about, you know, signings, what we're doing, other teams are doing. Of course they do. We all know our AFTV roles and all those types of things. But is it that one? Is it the Arsenal game, or is it the Isaac Derby that you think you're most excited for seeing?
No, I think Liverpool against Arsenal, because you're effectively looking at a run-in between, you know, first and second, and hopefully it's neck and neck and it's exciting. And you know, obviously we win the title, but we want to have that competitiveness. We want to see it. I would say Liverpool against Arsenal, hands down.
Interesting. A man there saying game against Newcastle looks more tense than United or Arsenal because of Isak transfer saga. See, I kind of think that a little bit like you say, but yeah, it's to tell you what, it's a juicy opening month. It is not the slower introduction, was it, that Slot got last year? But we're saying that Nottingham Forest was in the first month of the season as well, wasn't it, last year at home? So that goes into the mix as well. Right, James, he's not here. Game by game, score predictions, 3 to put up.
Okay, Liverpool, Bournemouth, I'm going to go 3-0. I think it's going to be a good, comprehensive display. I think Salah's going to open up the score.
Do you know what? I actually said on post-conference presser earlier, I think Salah will score on this because a lot of people have taken a lot of shots at the King after that, like you said, friendly at Wembley on Sunday about it. Like, he will be fired up for this. And we know how Salah starts the season. I actually went 3-1, which funnily enough is exactly what Stephen Dew has gone there. I just think at the moment, the attack looks good. We're ironing out them kinks in defence, aren't we? So 3-1 for me is what I'm going. But we will take either of those a win. Jamesy, the Isak derby, Monday the 25th of August.
Oh, okay. So I think Newcastle will score first, okay? And I think they'll come back and it'll be 2-1. I think they'll lose their head. I think it's just too much. Yeah. So I think 2-1 to Liverpool.
I actually thought 2-1 as well, because again, but we're not keeping clean sheets. I don't know if they'll score first, but just their fans will be, like you said, baying for blood, and it will be a bit of a cauldron to play there. Obviously, Isak's not going to be in either squad, of course, is he? Just to be clear. But yeah, I'm fancying 2-1 there. This is the one I'm least confident in, Jamesy. Arsenal, Sunday the 31st of August, our first Super Sunday as well. What are you reckoning?
It's a tough one, Dave. I think the first 15 minutes can tell you a lot about a game, and it depends how much Liverpool and also how Anfield's up for it. I mean, they really need to make that like a cauldron. That's the thing. Again, Arsenal, we know the quality of Arsenal, so I would say 2-1 Liverpool. It'll be 1 each, and then Liverpool will score. So it'll be 2-1.
I hate myself for saying this, and probably people are going to be booing if they are watching it or listening. I want obviously a win, and my heart is saying like a 1-0, a 2-1, something like that. But just thinking about the way it's gone with Arsenal at Anfield, we haven't beaten them for a while. There was the one where, do you remember Odegaard basketball dribbled it and we didn't get the penalty, which we should have. Yeah. Last season, we kind of just stopped playing because we won the title a little bit. But yeah, I'm agreeing with my colleague, Mr. Game, in that. I just get the feeling it's going to be 1-1 in that game. I could be wrong. I am desperate to be wrong. But yeah, 1-1. Jamesy, I mean, you stated those pretty bullishly. 9 out of 9 for you this first month.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Dave, the reason being is because there's going to be a lot of pressure on. We've got Wirtz that's more or less a club record. We have talks with Isaac that's coming through, with Kirkes, Frimpong, all big signings, all the kind of last season, there wasn't that kind of expectation. It's all eyes on Liverpool, and we just have to think about City, Chelsea and Arsenal, and we have to hit 3. And I think that's what Slot will say. And I think that a good measurement is that we should win most or all our games at home. And I think that's what he'll have drilled into the players.
Fingers crossed. I hope my little sneaker there for the draw is incorrect. Time will tell on that one. It's a shame because Mark usually gets everything wrong in the first month, but we'll see when we chat to him tomorrow what he comes up with.